So we have got 10 days until Stellarlune. Is it just me, or is time moving faster as we approach the release? This is insane. In about one more week, we will all be reading Stellarlune. And I thought maybe a wholesome video to do before the release would be to reflect on some of my favorite moments from the KotLC series. So today, I'm going to be going over my top 10 KotLC scenes. Who doesn't want to reflect over the rereads that they've been doing and just all the favorite moments? Please do be sure to leave a like on this video. It'd be super appreciated, and we just gotta start getting hyped up for Stellarlune, guys. And do be sure to subscribe down below. I do know that Joey's working on a recap video so you guys can be caught up before Stellarlune. And please do be sure to comment down below your favorite scenes in the comments down below. Let's discuss, let's chat. Number 10 is Sophie's first visit to the Lost Cities. Discovering a magic world for the first time is always a magical experience, and it's always so fun to read about. That's really what I love about middle grade books. That's why I read things like Land of Stories and The Unwanted and Harry Potter, because I just love immersing myself in a new world. And I especially love how the characters react and respond to their first time seeing these magical things. And Sophie's reaction was just priceless. It's the way she was trying to, make up excuses at first, like amazing knowledge of the human world and all of that just being thrown out the window. It was a really interesting experience for her, and just this magical boy that brought this whole series to life for us. It's really important and bittersweet, and I'm feeling especially nostalgic about it coming up to this release. I mean, I just love the Lost Cities. Like, that's priceless. That's something that you can't take back your first time reading that scene. I don't think this one's gonna be unpopular, but it might be. Number 9 is the Exilium scenes. It's not a secret that Neverseen is my favorite book in the series, and one of the elements why I love Neverseen so much is because we got a shift to the Exilium school. We got to see how the Banished live, and I felt that was so interesting. I also think half of an elf's abilities really are their skills, and so it's really cool learning about how they train their skills, like appetite suppression or night vision. We also got to meet our favorite characters, Tam and Lynn. Without Exilium, we wouldn't be able to find them, and so it was just really amazing. But yeah, I loved Exilium, I loved the 3 hemispheres, and I loved all the new kind of culture that it brought into the cities. Another scene I just love, and I've been loving in my reread, is the Illuminaria peace summit between the ogres and the elves, but also the other species like the dwarves and the trolls, etc. I absolutely love the culture within the books. That's something that I've been interested in the most, I think, throughout my whole time reading, just like the traditions, the food, the technology. We get to see so much when all the species are together in one room. We get to learn more about the different leaders and how the people live and what they look like. For example, that was Sophie's first time seeing a troll, like Empress Pernile, and seeing how the different species interact is so priceless. And I felt like that was a big plot twist, the plot twist in Lodestar when the castle started crumbling down. We had seen the signs of it throughout the whole book preceding that, but we just didn't catch on to it, and I was like, oh shoot. And I think we can all agree that my number 7, which is the Everglen hangouts, is such a great scene. I love when the characters were just not focusing on the Black Swan or the Neverseen or all their problems, and they were just playing base quest. They were having Auryn flares. Sophie had a bunch of visits in Alden's office. Those times feel so nostalgic to me because that's really where the series began. Sophie's first friend really was Fitz in the Lost Cities, and I think rereading the series, my opinion on Fitz has definitely changed. I do see him more of like a friendly figure, especially considering the things that happened in the late series. But yeah, Everglen was such an amazing opportunity for Sophie to grow and thrive, learn more about the cities, and develop a friendship with Biana and Fitz, and we love that. And Keefe too, because like Everglen is Keefe's second home. I absolutely loved the Foxfire detentions, especially the ones with Keefe, and especially the ones in Everblaze. That really made the book for me because we learned a lot more about the ogres throughout those chapters, especially because the one that had been doing those detentions is Lady Candace, and she was trying to study and set up all these traps for the ogres. But there's something about Sophie and Keefe just goofing off all the time and getting more and more detentions that was just so priceless to me. There was one time where Sophie and Keefe were like planting these fluxers in the ground throughout Foxfire, and then they started like throwing them around and chasing each other, and then got more detention obviously when Lady Candace caught them. But it's stuff like this that really makes the series for me. Now, a personal fan favorite that is also a favorite of mine is the Sokeefe Flight on Sylphony in Exile. This was the first time I gained a lot of respect for Keefe because he was just a big goofball beforehand in my opinion, but this showed that he did have the power to protect Sophie and to care for Sophie. It did really get very intimate and close at one point when Sophie could feel Keefe behind her, and you know, she was just leaning into him and they were having a good time. And that's when I first felt an inkling of Sokeefe. And you know, Sokeefe is my favorite. I get emotional thinking about Sokeefe actually happening in Stellarlune. Like, that would be insane. But this is where it all started for me. Exile was definitely the book for Sokeefe to blossom, and it just shows how Keefe can be peace when Fitz is anger. I just loved, you know, flying on Sylphony, seeing the stars. Like, it was such a great visual in my mind, and I loved it. You might be surprised that this is actually kind of low on my list, but the EL Fudges scene is number 4 on my list. This was just a priceless moment in Legacy. I mean, it just shows how Sophie cares for Keefe. She used her extra time in the Lost Cities to grab some EL Fudges for Keefe because she knows he's down. We know that Keefe has experienced trauma throughout his entire life. Sophie is just such a great healer to Keefe. She understands Keefe, she can talk to Keefe. It made me emotional reading that scene because just to see how Sophie could make Keefe light up. I love it so much. Being the Never Seen fan myself, at number 3 I am giving to the gelato scene in specific, but honestly all of the Florence adventures. If you don't quite remember, Sophie and her friends joined the Never Seen, and to do that they had to find the location of this window, and they left a whole riddle and clue for Fitz and Sophie. And so they were just roaming the streets of Florence trying to figure out the clues to make it to eventually the Never Seen's hideout in Illuminaria. It was a very convoluted and complex journey, but I loved every second of it because it was all fun and humorous, and just seeing some of the Florence culture, like the naked statues and the gelato. Like their whole team just stopped to get some gelato, and I love that. It just showed their friendship, the whole team's friendship, the whole Black Swan's friendship. And similar to the EL Fudges, I just love how we get these little fun, cute moments in the mix of such a dark plot line. Number 2, we have got the warehouse fire in the end of Unlocked. Now, this marks a definitive shift in the series from playing the defense to playing the offense. Sometimes you gotta play a little bit dirty to get things done, and I'm so glad that the Black Swan is now on this trajectory. Sophie is starting it, Sophie is initiating it, and she is going to start doing everything she can in her power to defeat the Never Seen. Like, she's tired of waiting, and I'm tired of waiting too. I don't want to say anything too much about the first 2 chapters of Stellarlune, but it is safe to say that Sophie is taking things into her own hands. I kind of teared up a little bit when Sophie placed the Moonlark symbol in the fire. That was insane, and I definitely felt the excitement for the next book as soon as I heard that. Because, like, what's gonna happen? Like, the Never Seen's obviously gonna have to fight back against that fire, and I'm just curious when it's gonna happen. My favorite moment in the whole Keefe Lost Cities has to be Sophie and Keefe's window sleepover, when Keefe just disappeared for a few days in Illuminaria and Sophie didn't see him, no one talked to him. Like, it just made me really sad, and to see that Sophie could, you know, just provide a little glimpse of hope for him by, you know, smacking shoes across his windows, offering to sleep together. Like, they're just across the, you know, the tree line, just sleeping next to each other in the windows, and that's so cute to me. Like, that's when I knew, like, Sokeefe was, like, solidified in my heart. Like, Keefe is truly the one for Sophie, and Sophie is truly the one for Keefe. They are meant for each other. They really know how to make each other happy, and I just can't wait to see Sokeefe come into fruition. I thought the scene was so cute, and it's just always gonna be my favorite. But that does wrap up my top 10 list of KotLC scenes. I'm so excited to see what you all comment in the comments down below about your favorite scenes. Please do be sure to leave a like on the video. It always goes a long way, and it really just shows us that you're excited for Stellarlune, so show us you're excited. Also, subscribe down below. This is your chance to subscribe to us before Stellarlune comes out, and share this video with a friend who is also excited for Stellarlune as well. But that's gonna wrap up this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys probably when Stellarlune releases. I don't know how our upload schedule is gonna be, but enjoy Stellarlune if I don't see you until then, and